What's the consequences of not making this shift for firms?
People think that they're doing it. If I go ask most firms today, are you doing advisory? They'll say yes. And then you start peeling the layers back and you start asking questions like, okay, well, how much are you charging for those advisory services? And they say, well, I give advice when I'm meeting with the client to go over their books, to look at the balance sheet and the P&L or the tax return or whatever that looks like. And then, the reality then isn't apparent to them that you're actually not offering advisory services. You're giving away free advice. And by the way, while you're going over the balance sheet and the P&L, the clients don't know how to read and frankly don't even really care about. What they care about most is what you have to offer in terms of your experience and your expertise, starting with the financials as a starting point. So it's a forward-looking thing. And so that's the hurdle that people just can't get over. And so yeah, I mean, you're going to get left behind. That's where you're going to end up, because as we continue to automate compliance work, that work, it just becomes, less and less valuable to clients. It's not that the work isn't important, right? I want to be careful about that, because there's never going to, the work is never going to go away. But you'll continue to find that, clients argue with you over the bill. They don't want to pay for these, services, and they're constantly comparing you to, as a commodity, if you will, instead of really seeing what your real worth is. And so, I think worst case scenario too, the firms that just continue to operate the way that they are, they're never going to grow. It's going to be hard, continually more difficult to find talent, because the talent coming into our profession, what little talent there is coming into our profession, doesn't want to work the same way that we did, many years. They're not attracted to 80-hour work weeks. They're not attracted to data entry work. They want to have a meaningful impact on people's lives, and do work that creates value. And so I think that's kind of the biggest consequence, is just the missed opportunity and the continual erosion of the way that we've been doing things. It's going to leave firms with less and less valuable practices.
Good point. John, what would you add on the consequences?
Yeah, I think, kind of playing off what Jason just said, I think it's, I talk to 10, 15 firms a week, and I think the biggest, issue around that is, I think Jim mentioned it earlier, is the health. They're working, 80 to 100 hours. They can't find staff. They're turning customers away. They're not able to meet the needs of their existing customers. And exactly what Jason said, it's commoditized. I mean, if I can go and get the same work done somewhere over here and save 30%, I'm going to do it, right? So it's about what value do you bring to those customers if you don't make that change, and you're just going to be doing the same work over and over again. Like Jason, it's important work. Don't get me wrong. And I hear it all the time that they want to grow the business, they want to move to advisory services, but they've got all this compliance work. I don't know how to make that leap to advisory services, and that's the consequence, right? You keep pushing it off, and we're 5 to 7 years down the road, and we're still pushing it off, and you're going to get left behind is the biggest thing, I think. And as you think about your practice and your legacy that you want to bring to the table, and make sure you impact, because I think most accountants and most tax advisors really have that servitude mentality that they want to take care of their customers at the end of the day. And it's tough to take care of customers when you're backlogged and you're just doing the compliance work. And moving away from that compliance to advisor is really that leap of faith that you've got to just do it. And ultimately, you don't want to be left behind.
Yeah, right. I would also just add that this journey takes time. It's a launch and learn, and we as practitioners, we practice on our customers. The longer you wait to start, the longer it's going to take to get there. And we've touched on a couple things, but staffing, the young people, we want to make this a profession. That young people want to come in and grow their career and make a difference with clients. And now is the time. We got the tools, we've got remote work, we have, great young people who are excited to make a difference with clients. And this is a great opportunity to transform our profession to where it's exciting if we align with those advisory services, because these younger career folks want to make that difference with clients. So if you make that switch, you're going to have a competitive advantage attracting great talent and retaining them and developing them. That's going to help you excel at what you do. The other thing we kind of swirled around that a little bit is updating a business model. We're accountants. The business model drives the services that we do. As long as we keep writing on an invoice, charging for a 1040, charging for a tax return, sales tax return, for compliance services, and we keep tracking hours and we keep billing in the same way we've done it for the last 50 years, we'll keep getting the same outcomes. Changing your billing model can drive the change in your practice. Firms that today are on subscription models with recurring revenue with scalable services, that means you have great financial acumen and you can scale that out to hundreds of clients instead of hours, which are finite and limited. If you got those subscription models and scalable services, your firm value is worth way more than one times revenue. If you have a traditional compliance model that's still billing by report, billing by the hour, reliant on those staff members to do a ton of work, and by the way, those wages keep going higher, the value of your firm is not going up, it's going down. Nobody is looking to buy those firms. So thinking about the direction you're going, it takes time. It's not all going to happen at once. The firms that keep waiting for everything to be in place and it to be perfect basically spin and churn. The ones who are successful, the ones who have crossed the chasm, they launch and learn. They take that first step. They begin down this journey. And a year, 18 months, 2 years down the road, they wake up and they're like, wow, I finally have this firm of my dreams. My hours and my team's hours are going down. We're not working around deadlines anymore. We're delivering way more value for clients. Revenue's higher. Everybody's happier.